All right, so I'm going blind on this. Matty L is coming with the stats.
Okay.
Yo!
How's it going, everyone? Matt Leighton, Shawn Battle. Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. It is Thursday, May 21st, and in today's video, we're going to touch on three main topics that we'll get into here very shortly. Shawn, how's it going today?
Matt, I'm doing all right, buddy. This market is ticking along. I don't know what to expect. Every day is different. I think we're pretty busy here. But things are good. I sold my house this week. I have nowhere to live.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Luckily, I'm still here. I have a rent back, so I'll be here for 2 more months. Need to find me an Arlington single family, or we're going to go short-term rent for a little bit there, buddy.
I will keep my eyes peeled. And, I feel like people think that we call each other before our shows to ask what we're wearing. And I know we're both wearing a pink tie right now, but that was not planned.
Not at all. Not at
We
all.
both got the pink tie. I love it. You're going floral. Perfect. So in the first topic that we want to touch on is long-term effects of COVID-19, because in my opinion, you turn on any news, and I was at someone's house the other day, and I was there for, the whole day, and they just had, I don't know if it was CNN or Fox News, it doesn't matter which one, but they just had the news playing the entire day, and it was like the most depressing thing ever. I'm like, can I change the channel? So, it's showing the unemployment numbers in bold red letters. And, in my opinion, I just feel like we haven't even touched the surface of the effects of COVID-19. And in this area, specifically in Northern Virginia, we are now starting to see things pick back up drastically. There was a period of about, let's call it 3 weeks, maybe 3.5 weeks, from around April 1st to the maybe third week of April, where everyone was just huddled indoors. All the sellers were looking at any offers they could get, and the buyers had the upper hand. Now it seems like we're back to pre-COVID-19 levels, and I'm going to pull up the COVID-19 effects on showing time. I'll put it in the YouTube video here, and we can see that showings have actually increased dramatically, and they are on pace with 2019. It'll probably be another month or so, and then we're going to be back to 2019 levels. So we pretty much had like a 3-week standstill. It dropped down, everything's paused, but now we're kind of getting back up to where we were. But Shawn, I'm thinking a year from now, 18 months from now is when we're really going to start seeing the effects of this pause that we've had. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. I don't think we've even scratched the surface here. We don't even know what to expect. There are a lot of people that are speculating that, we're going to see a huge downturn. Right now, what we're seeing is that inventory, I believe, is just going to explode on here in a second, right? And one reason for this and why I think this is true is because I was trying to call a certain company yesterday that does our photography and our 3D tours for us. They would not answer the phone. They wouldn't answer. Like, I sat on hold for 20 minutes to try to realign a photography schedule. They did not answer the whole time. Finally, I had to contact one of my photographers directly. And he's like, yeah, they're really busy. They're really backed up. So what does that mean? That means everybody's calling this company to get their property pictures done, 3D tours, and get them on the market.
The photographers are almost a better source of market information than maybe some agents.
Yeah, exactly. You watch the people that are prior to market, watch how busy they get, and that's going to judge how busy this market's going to get. So I believe that we're going to be flooded with listings, and I'm hopeful, but what we have to watch then is, if we are flooded with these listings, can the buyer pool keep up? And right now, we're seeing such a small inventory that the buyer pool is going crazy, and we're seeing multiple contracts pretty much everywhere. But what happens when we finally see a flood and the floodgates open with the listings, and is the buyer pool going to be able to sustain it? That's the question.
Yeah, and our buyer pool here is pretty strong in the DC metro area. I would assume that your showings on the buyer side have been down. Maybe you haven't shown as many buyers as in past spring markets. Just going to take a wild guess there. But what I've also seen is, even though I'm showing properties to less buyers, the properties that I am showing them to, those buyers, I should say, they're more interested, as if to say, I'm not showing a lot of tire kickers. There's not a lot of looky-loos that are hitting me up to see the properties. Because Shawn, we have those clients. Maybe they're a year out. Maybe they're 6 months out. We both know those clients that they're not going to put in an offer that exact day. They're not messaging me to go out and see a property. And thankfully, they're not messaging me to go and make a virtual tour, make a video of a walkthrough, because they're not seriously interested. So in terms of showings, I've shown less properties, but the buyers that I have shown those properties to, those buyers are very interested in making offers.
No, you're absolutely right. I have had, we've gotten a few under contract, and those buyers that we've gotten under contract have been consistent. They knew that they wanted to move. They would have moved on the first house if they liked it, right? And so we've had multiple buyers that, I think the strong buyers are out right now. The weak buyers, the buyers that are out on the fringes, they're gone. They're gone for a while. They'll start feeding back in when they feel like, oh, okay, the water's warm again. Let's get back in, right? The people that need to move, the people that are eager, they don't care about a downturn because they're going to live there for 10 years or whatever it is. Even if this market does turn down, they're not worried about it because they're looking for a long-term buy. So yeah, I think you're right in that fact.
One other note on this is, I've seen some listings require a pre-approval, pre-qualification lender letter, even to get into the property. So there's like one more barrier to entry there that may dissuade some people. Like I almost showed this really expensive condo in Roslyn, $5 million condo, incredible condo. And my clients reached out and was like, I want to see it. I was like, great. All you need to do is just fill out this like asset information form, or, proof of funds or something like that. And then I just never heard from him ever again. So was there strong interest? Maybe not. But I did see the pre-qualification letter as a prerequisite. So
yeah, well, the thing is, sellers are a little more scared to let just anybody in their property. So I think it's their right to say, hey, well, we only want the people that are really looking, not these looky-loos that are going to buy in a year or like just kicking the tires, because that's not what we're here for. We want people to actually buy this property and that are ready to go and pre-approved. Funny thing is, the other day I wanted to go look at a property in Arlington.
Yeah.
You know what they said?
They said, sure, come on and see our house for sale.
They said, no kids.
Don't bring your kids? Why no kids?
Kids, because maybe they carry this virus a little more. I don't know. So I scheduled the showing. They never. We were like, hey, we have a daughter and we're not coming without her. So let us know if we could see it. Never responded. So we were like, cancel.
Who are these kids who are these agents that are also doctors that we don't know about?
I don't know, and I don't even know that it's agents, but it's the clients of those agents. And if they were my clients, I'd be like, listen, it's running on a fringe here, right?
Yeah.
Discriminatory practice.
Sometimes you don't know if it's the seller or the agents pulling.
Yeah. And another thing that agents are doing is having people sign these documents that like say, hey, I don't have COVID and blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, come on. We're all trying to get to the same goal here. Is that really necessary?
Right. One other story before we move on. I saw a house in Falls Church with my clients. We go and there's like 20 realtor cards on the table, and my clients had a few questions. The deadline was the next day, and so I sent the agents 4 different messages throughout different mediums: phone calls, voicemail, text message, email, and showing time message. 5 different messages. Never heard back before the deadline. And that property is now under contract. So I'm just like, well, I really hope you got a much, much stronger offer than what we were going to offer.
It's crazy.
So,
Maybe that she was so busy that or that person, I don't know if it was a male or female, but that she had so many offers that she just couldn't handle it anymore.
that's why I got to assume, but like, can I at least get can I get a call? Can I get a pulse? Can I get a sign of life over here? Sending you 5 messages and you don't respond to one.
And that's a good, real quick. I'm trying to get a hold of a lender right now. We won't mention which one, but it's one of those ones that is notorious for being slow. They want to delay settlement after they said that they could close in 21 days. They want to delay settlement. So I call her to see, hey, all right, where is the buyer's qualified? Where are they, as far as being qualified? It was yesterday morning. Today it's 2:17. No call back.
Nothing.
Nothing. And that's the difference that's why we say use a local lender. Use a lender that we suggest. When you say, oh, look, I can get this rate with this bank. Go ahead, but they're not going to close the deal. And this is what happens. You put us all in jeopardy. Drives me nuts.
You just got to push for your client to do the right thing. And at the end of the day, it's their decision. And if they want to go with that lender or that title company, buckle up because
you're rolling the dice,
might be a bumpy ride. All right. So moving on, Elon Musk doubles down on his promise to own no house by putting 5 of his California houses on the market for sale for a combined $97.5 million. And then he also had 2 other houses listed as well in early May for 39.5. I might be misreading this. There's a total of 5 properties in Bel Air and in Silicon Valley, all around Los Angeles. He announced that on the Joe Rogan podcast that he was selling his house. By the way, did you see the deal that Joe Rogan cut with Spotify?
No, I didn't. Tell me about it.
$100 million. $100 million distribution deal with Spotify for the Joe Rogan experience. Shawn, we should be podcasting every second of our life because if Joe Rogan can get $100 million, I think there's some piece of the pie there for us as well.
Yeah, we can get a couple bucks here. Let's keep rolling.
So Elon Musk is, he's basically shorting, if you will. He's shorting the Los Angeles real estate market and the real estate market in whole. First of all, why do you need 5 properties? Why do you need 5? I mean, he's a completely unique talent and entrepreneur. So maybe that's something that I'll never understand. But owning $100 million worth of real estate in single family houses, I'm guessing he's not making a lot of money on renting those out and not spending a lot of time at him. So that's the first thing is why do you need that? Secondly, I think what he's going to do is rent after this. So he's going to sell all of them and then he's going to rent. Maybe he's going to live with his little baby and his girl Grimes. By the way, have you listened to any of Grimes's music?
No.
It is fantastic.
Is it really?
And I highly recommend it.
All right.
So it's a little on the weird side, but that's okay.
Sometimes that's good.
So
I think
$100 million worth of real estate in LA.
That's the problem. It's $100 million of real estate. I mean, if you're going to, that's the problem. He's going from one end to the next. Why not just, hey, let's go buy a house and live in it, right? And not have 5 that are worth $100 million. You go from one aspect to the other. And why is he doing this? Is this a show of he thinks the market's going to tank? Is he tired of the real estate taxes and all the other taxes in California because they keep going up? I don't know what it is. It is just he's a different dude. I don't know. But I think
there's not a lot of benefits to me of buying real estate in California. I mean, the taxes are high. The government just seems to be inferior to other areas. Like if I'm buying real estate, it's not going to be in California. Now, I may rent in California because they have very nice rental laws concerning tenants, but purchasing real estate with that government, I mean, you're seeing an exodus, people moving to Nevada, Las Vegas, Austin, Texas, Phoenix. People are leaving California and whether it's correlation or causation to Elon Musk and, of course, the ongoing saga with his Tesla factory that may or may not be reopening or may not be moving. Um, you know, Elon Musk, I don't think he's an evil genius, but he's not far off from that. Everything he does turns to gold. So, you know, I'm very I'm very curious at all of his moves, and I'm interested to see how this one turns out, especially because if you look on the listing, the properties are combined. So 3 of them are combined for $62 million, and it's a for sale by owner, and the properties are not one next to another. They're like blocks away. So very intriguing.
Well, and that begs a few questions, right? Was he ever renting any of these out? You know, people with this caliber of money, they just buy things because they want to buy things. I don't know what, you know, so was he even making any money on these? Did he buy them for cash? You know, did he have any mortgages on them? Who knows, you know? Usually those kind of people just pay cash and they're done. So was he renting them out is a question. Secondly, what was my point? Oh, why put them all on at the same time? You're diluting the market. You know, the market there, probably you're not seeing a ton of sales, and then you throw them all on at once. It's the wrong thing to do. Sell them one at a time, get as many buyers in there as you can. And granted, we're at a different price point, so how many buyers are there? But then how many buyers are there going to be for 5 of them, right? Not a smart move, in my opinion.
Well, he's doing it for sale by owners. You can call the number on Zillow. It's
Probably overpriced.
there's a number on Zillow you can call if you're interested, or if you want to cold call his listing there.
You think it's his personal number?
I would
Hey,
highly
Elon,
doubt it.
some is for sale by owner.
Mr. Musk. All right. So the third topic that I wanted us to touch on is that Rockville, Maryland, just outside of Bethesda, has temporarily prohibited residential rent increases. I'm looking at the article right now.
Wow.
There is a rent increase cap in effect, meaning that landlords can only increase the rent by a maximum of 2.6%. The way I am interpreting this is that there are individuals that live in the city of Rockville that own property that are now being told what they can and cannot price their property that they own at. Shawn, what do you make of this?
That's pretty unbelievable. I don't know. Do you know of any other jurisdictions that do this? I think there probably are laws enacted in like maybe New York, or maybe it's for a segment of this market. I'm not sure.
There might have been something in DC about it, but it could have been, I'll have to look it up before I, talk out of both sides of my mouth, but it might have been, affordable housing or Section 8 or some sort of
Exactly.
like government backed program.
But now this is the government saying, hey, we don't have any rights to your properties, but we're going to tell you what to do because
under the law, landlords can't send a notice of rent increase greater than 2.6% until 90 days after the end of Maryland's state of emergency. Therefore, rent increases greater than 2.6 could not go into effect until 180 days after it ends. Now, I'm also seeing, this out of the lens of who in their right mind would ever raise the rent on their tenants during a state of emergency. I completely understand that. And I understand that there's kind of this whole holding pattern, if you will, where it's like, okay, during this time, just like, don't do anything crazy. I don't know why you would drastically raise the rent, but it's also a slippery slope where if the government can tell you when you're allowed to raise the rents, can they also tell you what you should and shouldn't price your house at? So obviously during a state of emergency, during this, no one really knows the solution, but this to me seems like a slippery slope.
Yeah, you can see both sides of it. People are struggling, they can't pay their rents. And then you have this landlord that controls this person because you're living in the property. And what can you do? Do you really want to move out? You know, they raise their rents and they're squashing these people. But at the same time, we don't own that property, that person does. And maybe they're struggling in the same mark. Maybe they're under, they're not able to cover their mortgage and they need the extra money to to this. There's so many factors that could go into this, right? Just think if the mortgage rates, what if they're on like a 7-year ARM, and that ARM has come up and now their prices increase and they can't increase their rent and now they're screwed. So like you have to, again, broad brushstrokes on things is just not a good idea because there's so many people in so many different situations, right?
Yeah, everyone always immediately thinks of like the one renter who has a family, works a low-paying job, has kids to feed. But what about the landlord that owns 100 units and something happened with their finances because of the virus, and now they're struggling to pay the bank, and now they can't do the maintenance that's needed inside the building. Now the bank is threatening to take them over unless they do something. Because they're not, financially secure either. So, I see all sides of this. I don't know what the solution is, but certainly telling a private individual what to do and how to price their property. I have a lot of thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think, it's a trickle down effect as well, because if you think about who it's really affecting, right? Maybe they're protecting the renters, but then it goes up a level to the owners of those properties. And then those owners get foreclosed on, then it goes to the banks. And then who's ultimately responsible for this is the taxpayer, right? So it's going to come back to us in some way, right? Foreclosures are going to happen, rates go down, whatever. I mean, so again, it's tough. I think that the government needs to lay off. There's a lot of people we see the power of the government now with everything that's going on, whether that's right or wrong. I mean, people have their opinions on that, right?
Yeah. So, to clarify, they're allowing a rent increase up to 2.6%. So they are allowing it, but they're capping it as well. So, I think the government in this scenario, is seeing both sides, and in unprecedented times, anything you do is going to be under the magnifying glass and under scrutiny. So, this seems like a somewhat reasonable thing. However, I don't live in this jurisdiction. I don't know Council Member Burrell Feinberg. I don't know these people.
Yeah.
But this is a story that I want to continue to follow.
So 2.6%, 2.6%. You can't raise it. So if you're paying $1,000 a month, you can't raise it above $1,026. Is my math right in my head?
Yeah, that's right.
That's not a huge increase,
No, it's not.
It's not a lot of leeway there.
No. Rockville, Maryland. Haven't been there in a minute, but Rockville Town Center is actually pretty nice.
I used to sell those condos in Rockville Town Center way back when.
Really?
Yeah. I never told you about that.
I don't think you did.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I used to sell them. I can't even remember the building. It was a super long building, Rockville Town Center. I used to drive there like every day, sit there in a place. This was in the downturn. We're trying to get out of that.
Was that new construction condos?
Yeah, it was new construction condos. It was really strange because like you could rent to own, you could do all these crazy things in the building. And that was around the same time I was also doing Capitol Hill Tower down in DC, which was a co-op, trying to sell a co-op when the stadiums come. Anyways.
Wow. Crazy times. All right, guys. So that will just about do it for another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. And for Shawn and myself, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.